Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, August 1st, 2022, and I'm just going through a bunch of notes again, and probably going to go on a lot of different tangents. And so before I get started on Canadian stuff, I did want to just go back to what I was talking about in my last video, and I was just discussing how there was multiple different scientists and great thinkers in previous eras, like Aristotle and Plato and Copernicus and so many others, and they were part of the University of Padua, so Padua. And I don't see it in my notes right now, but I do recall that it's definitely that name of it. And so even Galileo as well was he went to this university, and this was run and operated by Freemasons. I know this sounds ridiculous to people, but these are not reptile people or like any of these other things like people believe. I do think that we all have DNA compositions that have been genetically altered throughout, for a lot longer than we've been led to believe, and that we used to have more advanced ancient technology and cultures and traditions and ideologies and all this other stuff before, and then lost or hidden, and I think now it's more and more coming out again. So yes, not only it's really important to not just look at at institutions where people come from, but lineages, genealogy, family backgrounds, and affiliations and all that other stuff, because then just makes things easier to make assessments and links and connections, and just see just how far down the rabbit hole goes, and it's very deep. Yeah, and I want it to be clear, I don't make these videos to be famous or rich or any of that stuff. I don't know how long these videos usually even last up, and I'm surprised that they're still up, some of these ones, especially with the ones where I discuss flat earth theory and so many other things. And so anyway, if I was in another era, I could possibly be burnt at the stake for being a witch, right? For going against what our government and what our scientists and experts are telling us. And so even people that discuss different occult books and stuff like that, these were even CIA operatives or Russian spies that were fake, CIA operatives, and because again, there's so many deep-seated compartmentalized roles and characters that people are playing without even realizing it, and yeah, just keeping this going, right, and not helping the majority of people in the world, which is really frustrating, and they laugh at us too, right? And so there's a lot more footage coming out for so many different reasons of people making mistakes and saying things publicly or semi-publicly, or thinking that things would never get leaked or taken. Hunter Biden's laptop, for example, getting taken, did uncover a lot of information and disgusting information as well. And yeah, just gotta get on that stuff, and then share it more and risk what could possibly happen too, right? Because even within NASA, which is why I'm so passionate about talking about this flat earth stuff, I do, my university was RMC, and then I got selected one of two cadets to go do an exchange at West Point Military Academy, and I was an infantry officer, and when I went to West Point, I was actually I had just finished my phase 3 infantry training course, which is the hardest course you can take in Canada, and there was a 70-something% failure rate on that course too. It was freaking hard, and but now I guess in the last several years there's no ability to fail our soldiers anymore, because the standards are getting lower and lower, and it is what it is. But they laugh at us too, right? And they just because even when they tell us the truth, we're not even believing it, and we're actually fighting our own instead of considering information. So even in the last couple of years, right, I've tried to share information with people I thought I had credibility with, and because the PSYOPs is so deep within certain people, especially if they're more experts in their fields or believe they need to be more experts in their fields. So for them, if they're wrong, it's not an option, right? Their whole foundation crumbles, right? And that's the same thing with religion and cults and stuff like that too, right? So if you don't even want to look at a video because it elicits such a strong response, then you really got to look at that and see why What is the resistance? Or why do you completely dismiss it or refute things that you haven't even considered or looked at? If you can't even argue your own points, right? So I get that a lot too when I try to share my like the flat Earth documentaries that has a lot of science in it, has a lot of experts that have come out in like for hundreds of years, but like even recent decades, right? And they're saying that the Earth is not the way what we're being led to believe, and that even people that have head of organizations, they even show like flat Earth models of their in their logos and their designs and stuff like that, and like government data, like when they do any kind of like technical things regarding airspace or maritime or you name it, they're not factoring in like a lot of these theories that that Freemasons lie to us about. So even like sticking out the tongue, right? Like that's just like that's just like laughing in our faces. That's like gravity is not real. The theory of relativity, the planets as we see them, like these are all easily debunked with our own eyes, and we're just refusing to even look up and make our own assessments and do our own research. And it's because we don't, like, I don't know, like we're intentionally being like I think it's because like we're being lied to about the fact that like everything on the earth has been discovered and figured out. And so like that makes us in a place where we just don't try anymore, right? Like we give up. Oh, it's already figured out. Oh, there's plenty of people before me, like way smarter than me, experts in their fields, blah blah blah, that have already figured this out. So like I don't have to, right? And even like in the institutions that I've been to multiple universities, and I'm currently at Carleton University too, and I've tried to give information to heads of departments at Carleton University, even the head of the university, and not once has anyone responded back to me. And in fact, they actually, like when I went to give the information regarding the pandemic, like all the stuff that I've given multiple levels of government, they actually had someone call me to like check, like it was a welfare check, and I laughed, and then the girl, I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, do you know why? And she's like, no, I don't. And I'm like, okay, did you look at the email that I sent or did you listen to the voicemail? No, I didn't. Okay, so what were you told? And anyway, and I'm like, how dare you guys like me give you information and then try to like insult my intelligence and my cognitive abilities because you are profiting too much on the lies, right? And we got so many sellouts too, like even professors slamming Canadians on their choices too, like about getting vaccinated or not, or following mandates or the masks or whatever. And again, clear science and medical data and government data debunks so much, and more concerns coming out in the mainstream media now, because like again, people like me have been resisting and trying to get the information out for a long period of time. And yeah, so I'm gonna put another link to like another good video like in the description, and again, it's like a 6-hour video, but if you can get beyond the psychological operations like that have been ingrained in you and your parents and your parents' parents and the parents' parents, like down the line, and remove identity and bias and ego, especially ego, then you're going to see things for what they are, like, or at least a little bit more, and have a lot more questions and concerns about like the arguments made for this globe Earth, as we are being led to believe it is, because the more you unpack it, the more ridiculous it honestly sounds. And yeah, there's just like too much proof of the constellations, how this plane is a plane that is stationary, and how Sirius, or like the North Pole star or whatever, is like the center, and like the stars and constellations and things like that move in perfect unison, perfect circles or whatever you want to call it, or other sacred geometry lines, patterns, I mean, not lines. And again, it's in plain sight. And then the curvature of the Earth too, like people seeing way beyond distances that would be possible, because people are actually going out, they're doing the research, they're doing the experiments, they're taking their Nikon cameras and these other like telescopes and things like that, and they're doing their own experiments, they're doing their own assessments, and they're debunking things that are still being lied to us about today. And Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye and Barack Obama and like these Freemason types or whatever, and like Chris Hadfield, Buzz Aldrin, I could go Neil Armstrong, like George Washington, like you name it. Come on, so I would love it if people in government would take a look at this information, because I've emailed them this information as well, and just to consider, and again, like, no, nothing back yet, except I did give a book to Pierre Polyev, and of a friend of mine, Jeff Watson, and he did write a note back saying that he appreciated it, and I do hope that he reads that book. I think I already talked about Leonardo da Vinci, and like how he had technological advancements that were hidden from the masses to make it where he was able to manipulate and monopolize on advanced technology in a time that like a lot of things were I guess like more austere because of like resets and things like that, or natural disasters or man-made disasters, and people colonizing other areas, and having to like rebuild, like build over. But also exploiting people too, right? Because like these people that hide underground, because there's multiple tunnel systems throughout the world, and so like they know when these things come, they hide, they mislead, they manipulate, they cause distractions, they cause like more death and all this other stuff. Then they come back out, and then they again more distractions, more things to mislead us and cover up and hide, and then again exploit and monopolize on our naivety. It's so frustrating, but I hope that again this information comes out more. Yeah, like I did want to talk about like 6-9 Pisces balance, yin and yang, and then like the rotation of the world. I know my writing is terrible, but like this is like being the sun and the moon and doing like the rotations of the world, like dark and light, and how like in plain sight again, like we're being shown how things possibly are run. And there's hidden symbology even in like I've said before too, like comic books and video games and movies and TV series, especially the 100. That's a really good one with hidden symbology for like more recent things. And then Marvel has like new stuff out too, with like the Great Reset being discussed in that as well. And yeah, like also just regarding the Coriolis effect, so many things I would love to talk about to debunk like this globe Earth like theory stuff that we've been learning, but yeah, like when you close one eye, like when you put a dot or something like that like on a piece of paper and you put it on a wall, and you look at it, or even like during an eye test, like with the letters and numbers and stuff like that too, like if you close one eye or the other, like you see things like in different areas, right? And so like snipers or like people that shoot guns, like if there's a scope or whatever that they're looking through, or even iron sight, but like again like a rifle or a long gun or whatever, like generally speaking, like we're taught like in the special forces, or we were to keep our eyes open when we're firing, because it's like a more accurate shot or whatever like that, especially with our pistols and stuff like that. But it's really hard to do, honestly, like especially like when like our natural default is to like close one eye and squint or whatever like that when we're shooting. But if you don't, then again, so like, is it Coriolis effect when they're saying like, oh, well, like it goes this way or this way, and then I'm like, okay, well, like what eye were you looking out of? Okay, like maybe that's why it's going that way, and maybe that's why like the rounds are going this way when you're at further distances, right? Because like the more distance there is, like the more there's going to be like inaccurate like variations, and it's going to go even further too, right? So like if you're navigating and you're like one leg or whatever like that, or you shift more left naturally or you shift more right naturally. Oh, yeah, and you can test this too, actually, like if you if you like look at a tree or something that's like 100 meters away or 50 meters away, and then you like look at it and like you try to like, go into a straight line, close your eyes and then just try to walk as far as you can towards it, what you think is towards it, and then open your eyes and then just see where you land, right? And so like then you could see if you naturally like shift more left or more right. And then so over 100 meters, that might not make a difference, but after 200 meters or like a mile or a kilometer or whatever, or more, like these are definitely things that could make huge differences too, right? So that's why finding reference points and anyway, and knowing more about yourself and the environment really helps with things. Anyway, and even with like magnetism too, and like the core of the earth being like nickel and iron and all these other elements. And but these are ones that get weakened with heat, and so we're being told that like there's like the magnetism, like the at the core of the earth, at the mantle, is like 50 times higher than above Earth, but it would be the opposite, or I would assume it would be the opposite, just based on the temperature being like a cajillion degrees Celsius, Yeah, and I posted this on my Instagram too, but with the more accurate numbers um, of the degrees and stuff like that. But it's like significant, and so it just doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, like even I don't know if anyone knows about the palladium element, but it is a catalyst for chemical reactions. There's various types of um, magnets and elements, like magnetic elements that are in like Russia, which is like the largest producer of some different like magnetic materials that we should be like possibly like looking more into as to like why they're used and all those things too. So yeah, anyway, I'll just leave it at that for that one. I can talk about the Julian. I can talk about like a lot of weird things that happened in the 1890s. That was in preparation for the like that whatever you want to call it reset of 1902, and then like what proceeded that. But maybe that's for another video because I can go on so many tangents on that. But yeah, there's like a lot of people that and me included that put a lot of belief into things like this globe Earth and planets and space and like the moon landing, which is fake. And like a lot of the footage is there too. Like they look to be from like places like Arizona and southern Australia and the outback of Australia, which I guess is not just in southern Australia. So anyway, the outback of Australia, and then some parts of northern Canada as well. And I really hope that people take a look at the video that I share on that. So anyway, flat Earth stuff, blah, space. Dinosaurs too. Believe it or not, maybe fake. And so actually I'll post a link to another video and it will be on that one as well. And really like anything that I share, like there's a lot of like there's not only scientific data in it, but there's governmental and medical, and then I have experts like in these videos that I share. So it's not like like I go through a lot of editing and filtering and my own assessments before I share anything. So anyway. In Canada, we're still imposing mandates. We're still lying to our citizens about like how and why things are spreading and why there's injuries and why there's death in our population that has never been like that we don't know why. And I've discussed SIDS before, and I was even saying this like last year about SADS, and this is something that we're seeing. And there's even in Ontario, we've had multiple doctors just in the last 2 weeks alone after getting their booster within like a short period of time die. Young doctors, right? And we're making so many excuses saying like, oh, like heart attacks could be caused by vacuuming, or it could be caused by like reading the news, it could be caused by working out, it could be caused by walking, it could be caused by like getting fresh air. They're like lying about things because like a lot of people that are passing away, like it's just not making sense because they lived healthy lifestyles or moderately healthy lifestyles, or it was like unexpected, and no one knows why. And if you get like a test at the hospital after you passed away and you test positive, and again there's like so many false positives because of the systems that are being used, and yeah, I can share like the PCR testing is how it's ineffective, and the trials that have been done multiple times, and how multiple people, even now, experts are saying that we need to stop using them for so many different reasons, but including the ineffectiveness of them. And if your PSYOPs conditioning is strong, you're going to resist what I'm saying in a lot of this, and that's unfortunate. And so I'm trying to come from a good place in things I say, and hope that people just like not bite the hand that's trying to feed them, and actually considers looking at the videos that I'm getting my information from too, and also books like and my own life experiences and my own research and like my own travels and my own yeah, you name it, that's leading me to believe a lot of these things. And yeah, on that note, mandates, yeah, I already discussed those. They need to be lifted. Oh yeah, more lies coming out too about oh my goodness, about our ancient history and our current, like in our more like within the last 100 years, just like how we've misled and lied to our entire population. And it's stuff that I don't even want to mention on here. I would love it if people in government that are in the places that can like make change, I hope that they possibly reach out, because I'm annoyingly trying to reach them and share information. And yeah, just so we can have some kind of like advisory panel or committee or something like that to just go over just like how deep the lies are, And because like so many things need to change. So it's like it's our education systems at all levels. So it's like elementary schools, pre-Ks, universities, our hospitals, our like all like there's so many different like systems in our society that need to be looked at, and things need to be overhauled, and yeah, and things discussed, and more honesty and more transparency, and like yeah, and I'm terrified about saying this stuff too, like sometimes because people do go missing. And even with like the whole like space thing, there's a lot of astronauts too that they've been like um murdered. And the documentary that I share like proves it as well, that there's just been too many suspicious accidents that have happened, and we know that people have not gone beyond this firmament. We have not gone beyond 300 miles away from above the Earth, and even like the Van Allen belt, even like with the with the moon landing, and like the suits, they were saying that like with the amount of like heat and whatever in the area, and like the zero gravity like environment, and like all these other things like to factor in, that they would need to be surrounded in like 4 meters of iron in order to protect themselves from like the damage of these like anyways, like of all these, like I don't know what it like we're gonna call it, right? Because like there's even misconceptions about radiation and so many other things. So I have to like do more research on that before I even debunk that, or say that that may or may not be something that is also something we're being misled about in order for people to profit off of our fear. Yeah, so if we can transcend fear and transcend psychological conditioning that makes us refuse to look at possibly different facts that go completely against what's been ingrained into us, MK ultraed into us, then like I think that's a good start state. But it's hard when like again like the experts in these fields that get so funneled in these boxes that like just reinforce, and fuel the ego, and then don't allow for there to be like other options and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm not really great with these videos. I would be better if I was interviewed, or if people asked me questions, because oftentimes like when I'm debating things or having conversations, like they can go on for hours, right? But this is like very rare, and yeah, because again, a lot of people are not interested in this stuff. So it's every few months, there'll be like a gem of a conversation, and it leads me on like, and then it just like it adds more fuel to my fire. That okay, like there are people in the world that do see the world the way I see it, and even if they don't, I don't really care. But yeah, on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful Monday.